Hey folks, how you doing? This is Lance McBride with the Lance McBride Lab, and I'm coming to you today to talk about the fact that we are going to be probably stuck inside our houses for who knows how long. Well, hopefully it's just a couple of weeks, but it could probably end up being a month. So, I know, right? So, I'm dubbing this time as our Corona-cation. Yeah. Yep, that's what I came up with. Corona-cation. I've actually also heard someone name it our quarantine-cation. But I like Corona-cation just because it has the Corona name in it, and I'm associating Corona still with the beer as opposed to this COVID-19 situation, just because it makes me feel better. And I have some in my refrigerator, so, and plus I feel bad a little bit for the Corona company getting a bad rep with this virus attached to their name. But anyway, what I wanted to do today was talk to you about how we can, while we're on Corona-cation, be able to keep our spirits up and stay from getting depressed and down. And so what we need to do is find out ways that we can increase our endorphins. And so I'm going to talk about 7 things today that we can do to increase our endorphins and to help keep our spirits up and our vibrations high so that we can get through this Corona-cation and be ready for a real vacation by the time this is finished, and hopefully not in some kind of institution. So anyway, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is, of course, exercise. Yes, exercise is probably one of the number one ways to increase our, what am I talking about? Oh yeah, our endorphins, yes. As well as increase our mood, because we definitely need that to happen while we're on our Corona-cation. So that means getting up and outside of the house at times in order to just make sure we're getting our body moving and, active, and making sure that we are, keeping our brain from just kind of going stir crazy from being in the house. So I know that we might be under quarantine, but maybe you could still just jog around your house, around your building or your apartment, somehow get out. But if you can't do that, if we're not allowed to do that, then we'll at least need to stay active and do some sort of exercising while we're at home. We can do with our own body weights kind of thing. Also do some kind of calisthenic type exercises in the home, and especially if you have kids, get them up and out and ready to do that too. Hold on, someone's trying to call me. Let me just shut them off for a second. I gotta remember to put my phone on silent when I'm doing these videos from now on. But anyway, yeah, so let's just get out there, do some kind of exercising. And one of my favorite kinds of exercises that I think can be really easy and just super fun and just get those endorphins shooting up through the roof is dancing. All right, so I'm gonna put exercising / dancing as our number one endorphin boosting activity. For number 2, I'm gonna talk about something that you can do now, but then also that you will be able to do after we finish our Corona-cation. So that's giving. So while we're stuck in the house, think about ways in which you'll be able to currently give to folks. Maybe you have an extra roll of toilet tissue or paper towels around, or maybe there's a service that you can do or a product that you can start to make or to come up with that can give to the world in some way. So it doesn't always have to be monetarily, but it can also be in your creativity, in a way that you can give what's inside of you to the world. And really, this is a great time to just get that out. First of all, you might have to find it. Find out what's inside of you during this Corona-cation, and then let it out and in some form through your just charitable ways, And the reason why that like stimulates endorphins, or maybe I should talk about what endorphins are too, right? Just in case for folks that might not be familiar with it. But these are just like some, this is like a chemical reaction that happens in the brain when you are doing particular exercises. And it really is just to help us really kind of deal with pain and stress. So in order to help us like deal with those things, our body will give off these endorphins, and these endorphins are basically, as I mentioned, just chemicals that will sort of heighten our natural ability to feel better or to do something. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like being able to just have a pain reliever of sorts, or let's just call it like a happiness booster. That's what endorphins are, okay? And so that's what we're talking about, being able to raise those. So the first one we talked about was exercise/dancing. The second one was finding out how you can give, because that does something where it allows our brain to feel good about us giving in some way. As I mentioned, there's going to be so many charities or programs that will need people to help in volunteering and to taking care of things after we get through all this, okay? So the third one is going to be like eat chocolate and chili peppers. I'm going to put those two together, chocolate and chili peppers. Well, the two reasons that they go together is because dark chocolate in particular, not so much milk chocolate, but dark chocolate in particular has a higher amount of cocoa powder in it. And cocoa is known to help raise our endorphins, just because of the way that the chemical, again, interacts with our brain and our body, and allows us to release these things called like flavonoids. You might have heard of that term. But anyway, the chili pepper part of it is that like spicy foods also do the same thing in releasing endorphins. So eating like chili peppers or other spicy foods, it does something while they're in our mouth. It kind of like, you know how eating something hot is a little bit painful, but that pain in our mouth allows us to do something, or allows the brain to like release these endorphins again, giving us that sort of increase endorphins from like the food that's giving us a little pain in our mouth. And then we talked about how endorphins are basically pain relievers, and so and then also that at the same time they can be happiness boosters. So that's number 3 for us, right? All right, so the number 4th one is sort of a given, and why you might have seen memes and people talk about there's going to be like this maybe baby boom that happens during this thing, because yes, being intimate with your partner can definitely release endorphins. And so we don't have to go into detail about that one, right? You kind of get where we're going with that. Yeah, it's just that good, that feel-good feeling that you get from being in an intimate relationship with someone that you care about. All right, so number 5 is basically just like kind of going along with number 4, and you might not be able to do it in a professional manner, but if you are with your significant other, get massages or give massages to each other. It's not only like a loving thing to do, but it also again releases these endorphins that we're talking about, these feel-good chemicals that allow us to just, relax, of course, as a massage usually does, and then we can chill out, and then we can just feel good while we're on Corona-cation. All right, so we are at 5, right? Now we're going to 6. Number 6 is more of something that you're going to do with yourself, okay? And this is, again, something that's going to allow you to just really just be more zen. And of course, that's talking about meditation. And everyone has all sorts of ideas of what meditation may, consist of. But what I want you to think about more so is just basically like breathing. Sometimes people say meditation, oh, is it about like emptying your mind and, or just like, not thinking about anything? But I think that meditation, to me, when I think about meditation, it's about thinking about the things, or thinking upon the things that I feel really passionate and strong about, whether it's my relationship with God, or whether it's how I want to grow in my qualities of love and goodness and kindness and all those sorts of things, and how I deal with people, how I want my life to be, how the kind of life I want to live. All those things can be how we meditate, but it really surrounds around just breathing. And sometimes we could get so anxious during our Corona-cation, especially if we're listening to the news a lot. I actually choose not to listen to the news. The things I do find out about are plenty enough, and that's just mainly through social media or family and friends. Believe me, you're gonna hear enough of what you need to hear, so don't be inundated with all of the news and the media and taking all that in, because it will just bring you down. And so this meditating that I'm talking about is just really just learning to take deep breaths, and it's just going to allow you to really just relax. And I really needed to do this more so in my life, when I recently, within the last few months, have lost my mother and my father and other family members, and I started having panic attacks. So this deep breathing and meditating and just sort of like, stilling myself, it really helped me and has continued to help me as I continue to do it too. So it also allows me to be able to still feel good through all the troubles and craziness that my life has taken. All right, and then number 7 is my favorite, and that is laughter. Yes, I'll demonstrate for you. Make sure you get like a really deep belly laugh. Make sure it comes from your gut, because when you do that, oh, right, already I feel the tingles. Yeah, when you get that kind of deep belly laugh, that's when those endorphins will shoot up again. You'll be able to have that feel good feeling, and you'll start smiling and laughing, and at least for a little while you're laughing, you'll understand that things at this point right now and here while you're laughing are not that serious, and that you can get through and carry on. All right, so those are just a few of the points that I came across that I thought would be helpful for you in order to help raise your endorphins, something that I try to keep and be mindful about myself, and I hope that you can benefit from it too. All right, so you guys, while we're on Corona-cation, just make sure we don't keep going down and down. Let's utilize this time, enjoy it with family and friends. Well, not so much friends because we're social distancing, but stay in touch with friends via, emails or text messages, phone calls, social media in positive ways, and we'll all be all right and get through this, okay? All right, you ready to do this? All right, peace and hair grease, folks, and let's go.